Okay, I'm presenting my screen and you can find out your topic in Google Classroom of English. When you open up, there's a topic named modifiers, and along with I'm taking the help of a few of the online sites which has good information about the modifiers. What is basically modifier? What does it mean? So we can see very nicely it has mentioned here in the definition. A modifier is a word, phrase, or a clause that modifies. That is, gives information about another word in the same sentence. For example, in the following sentence, the word burger is modified by the word vegetarian. I am going to Satin Cafe for a vegetarian burger. The modifier vegetarian gives extra information about what kind of burger it is. So I can see that same into your classroom. So this is what it is mentioned there. What are the modifiers? How we use them correctly. A working definition for the word modify is to change or to alter something. This definition is the same when considering the purpose of modifiers within a sentence. A modifier changes, clarifies, qualifies, limits a particular word in a sentence in order to add emphasis, explanation, detail. So what is the meaning of it they are saying, or what is the usage of it? They are saying it. The usage of modifier is when you add modifier, it gives a hint to you that what exactly you are talking about. Means it tries to take your attention towards that one particular word. As in the example, it was mentioned that I'm going to dash dash cafe for a vegetarian burger. So burgers are of different types, and especially when you mention down that I am going over there for a vegetarian burger, it means you are trying to pay emphasis, stress on one word, that is vegetarian. So that is how it has become vegetarian. There is another example which you could see over here. Uh, the blonde girl named Sarah, who was a foreign exchange student from England, quickly climbed the ladder of popularity during her junior year. Smiling her way through cheerleading and as an ASB presidency term, she inched near the top and was a sure fit as a junior prom queen. The additional detail in the sentence by way of modifiers engage the reader and hold their attention. So basically, additional information when you try to give, they are saying it. That is how it will be easy for attention. It will be easy for a reader to understand it, and it definitely actually catches the attention of a reader when it sees something over there, which you feel like okay, that is great, and it also actually clarify the meaning of it. If there is another example we can see, they bought a car for my sister they call pumpkin. Now it's very unclear here to whom we call it pumpkin. They bought a car for my sister they call pumpkin. So you can see that it's very ambiguous over here. It is not very clear that whom they have called pumpkin. So in this sentence, pumpkin is the car's name, not the sister's, but this isn't clear. This confusion and unintentional humor is the result of a misplaced modifier. To correct this error, move the modifier closer to the noun it modifies. They bought a car they called pumpkin for my sister. See, in the first sentence, they have written, they bought a car for my sister they call pumpkin. But here they said that they bought a car they call pumpkin. So they brought that pumpkin near to it so that you could understand they bought a car they call pumpkin. Means they were calling pumpkin to a car, not to a person, for my sister. So that is how the modifiers, they are clearing that what exactly we are saying, what we are saying. Sometimes these kind of words they actually creates ambiguity or confusion because we do not know exactly what the speaker wants to say. Limiting modifiers such as only and always enforce restrictions on the subject, noun or pronoun they immediately proceed. List is here: just, almost, hardly, at first, simply. If a limiting modifier does not precede the subject or noun, the meaning of an entire sentence can change. Notice the difference in the following sentence. Only Jessica wants pizza. अब इन्होंने words दिए हैं कुछ आपको समझने के लिए like just, almost, hardly, at first, simply. They said that how these can clarify or these can, you know, help modifying the sentence or make you easier to understand it. Sentence is only Jessica wants pizza. So this sentence implies that Jessica is the only person who wants pizza. So if we read the sentence, it gives information that Jessica is the only one who is wanting pizza right now. But there is another sentence, Jessica wants pizza only. Now if you replace pizza's place and you brought that pizza, you know, in between of the sentence and on only it goes at the end. So now the meaning it is different here. Now, meaning it says that Jessica is only wanting pizza. She does not want anything else. She does not look for a burger. She does not look for any other eatable thing. She is just wanting pizza. In the first sentence, the meaning was that Jessica is the only one who is wanting pizza. Only Jessica wants pizza. So it means Jessica is the only one who is looking for pizza. There are more number of people over there and they're looking for something else. But sentence it changes when you replace or when you actually modifies the sentence. Uh, then it has become Jessica wants pizza only. So this is what it basically is the modifiers. Let's see what online other sites they say. What they say, they are saying modifier can be adjective. It can also be adverb. It depends upon. Example: the student carefully proofread her draft. So if you see over here, the student carefully proofread her draft. It means to say that carefully is a modifier over here who is trying to, uh, you know, uh, enhance the meaning of. Like if we say student proofread her draft, and we say that student carefully proofread her draft. So proofreading is same over here. But when you use a carefully, it actually emphasizes that person is very careful, is very attentive right now in doing the job. She studied in the library. Since the phrase in the library gives us extra information about the verb studied. So she studied. Study is a verb. It's a past form. Studied means it's a past form. Past form of what? Verb. We have form of verb. So to get the
Okay.
information about that verb, there is a modifier which is telling in the library. So this is how very simply you just have to find out. There will be one sentence in a question, and आपको sentence को देखते हुए you just supposed to find out that, okay, this is the modifier over here which is added or which is giving the extra information about something. Let's do few of the uh, examples. I mean, then probably it will be easier for you to understand. Let's do some exercise. I'm going to do it online. Write down over here um, exercise for misplaced modifier. Okay, it comes over here. So let's see what exercise it says. This exercise from Penn State University. Hi. Correct any misplaced modifier in the sentence. So we have answers as well over here. We'll see. The vehicle was parked on the front lawn for the Star residence with a slightly flat tire. So what do you think? Can we change something over here? The vehicle was parked on the front lawn of the Star residence with a slightly flat tire. So I show you one of the answers. You will see that what exactly how they have solved it. Okay. The vehicle had a slightly flat tire. So you see what it has happened. They have brought this thing slightly flat tire. They have changed the position. So that is how we call it as a misplaced modifier. Slightly flat tire, a flat tire. It was at the end. Now they brought it in front. The vehicle had a slightly flat tire and was parked on the front lawn of the Star residence. Okay. So what we have done, the meaning it has changed because we have brought this slightly flat tire and we have connected it with the vehicle. The next one is two police officers arrested Mr. James outside Three Rivers Stadium on the night of the raid on charges of marijuana possession. That's one sentence. And how misplaced modifier it will change on the night of the raid. Two police officers arrested Mr. James outside Three Rivers Stadium, charged him with marijuana possession. So that is something different. Then we have a third. The court upheld summary judgment in favor of employer, which found that there was not enough evidence for a claim of false light invasion of privacy. So again, there is a complete sentence, but it's a bit unclear. The court upheld summary judgment in favor of the employer. So court ने एक judgment ली है, and what they are saying that is in favor of employer because क्योंकि there was not enough evidence for the claim of false light invasion of privacy, because there was not enough evidence, कोई अच्छे तरीके से evidence नहीं था claim करने के लिए for a claiming of false light invasion of privacy. So this is how we make sentences. We're supposed to see it clearly, and when you say that it's not very clear, means a confusion it shows from the sentence, then you have to change the places. This is called as misplaced modifier. You're supposed to look at it, and this is how you have to change. Okay, this is called misplaced modifiers. Let's see something more. Okay, 15th. The pedestrian was hit by a car sitting on the curb. Yes. Can anyone?
The pedestrian sitting on the curb was hit by a car.
Pedestrian sitting in the
Sitting on
curb.
the
Okay,
yes,
was
yes,
hit
yes.
by car.
The car.
Okay. Okay. Very good. 15. Let's see. Uh, Sitting on the curb, the pedestrian was hit by a car. Even you wrote it's fine. Yeah, look, see, or they have made it. The pedestrian sitting on the
Yes,
curb
yes.
was hit by a car. Yes, it's totally all right. It's totally right. So this is what it is. So I think you have understood what I'm trying to say. The reason of misplaced modifier means the exact sense it should come out. This is not
Yes,
even
sir.
wrong. We cannot say that this is wrong, right? But even it's not very clear. Sentence is not very clear. Sitting on the okay, this one. The pedestrian was hit by a car sitting on the curb. Now it's very confused sentence or ambiguous sentence. We are unable to, see that was what exactly, it has said into the sentence. To make it more clear, that is how we use misplaced modifier, and this is how we used it. The pedestrian sitting on the curb was hit by a car. Okay, fine. All right. So let's now discuss our next thing, that is your tenses. We have come up to um, future perfect continuous. Yesterday we did past, sorry, future continuous. Yesterday we did past continuous. So today we are going to do future continuous. What are the rules for the future continuous? It's shall be, will be plus verbs first form plus ing. So the rest part it will remain the same, means verbs first form and ing is compulsory in all the three continuouses, whether it's present continuous, past continuous, or the future continuous. But in uh, the before we consider the helping verbs, the rules are changed. There we use is mr. In the past we use was were, and for the future continuous we use will be shall be, and this is how sentence we make. Basically, it's more of will be, not shall be. We use will be with every kind of subject. We can say this thing. Meaning in the future continuous is continuation, which you imagine in a mind that this is what it is happening, or it would be, you know, it would happen over there in continuation. I am playing.
Excuse
I
me,
was
sir.
playing. Haji.
So actually, sir, there is confusion in sir modifier. Can you repeat once that?
Which one? Modifier.
Sir, yeah, sir,
What is the
modifier.
confusion?
So the last question you discussed.
Last was look, sentence. It seems like it's okay, but when you read to it, you would find out there is a confusion because they have said that uh, the correct one was the pedestrian who was sitting on the uh, I think there was some word they were sitting
Curb,
on
sir. Curb, CORB.
Cars
not
missing
a
Curb, sir.
car,
CORB.
curb,
curb,
curb, curb. Yeah,
curb.
it was on curb. Yeah, the pedestrian who was sitting on a curb was hit by car. So that is complete sentence where you understand. Okay, there is one person who is sitting on a curb, and at the end, a car came and hit him. So that is complete. But a wrong one is what when you write or it was given to us like in a distorted way. They wrote like car hit to person in the curb, a person was sitting. Something like that means they have used a language or a sentence making that it feels like you are not understanding exactly what the sentence is trying to say to you. Are they talking about a car is hit by a person, or person hit by a car, or car hit to a curb? So it creates confusion over there. So misplaced modifier means to say that we have to rearrange them, rearrange all the positions, and this is how you will easily find out. Okay, this is the answer. Okay,
Use the modifier in normal conversation.
Sajid, would you please repeat? What did you say?
So how can we use that modifier in normal conversation?
Beta, that was a normal conversation. It was not an abnormal conversation. You have just explained one of the situation, and you feel like the other person is not understanding. It means your modifiers are not correctly placed. So you have to rearrange it. You have to change their places so that the receiver would understand it. That is what you call a misplaced modifier. Who actually qualifies, who actually tells you, or who tries to. There are different ways. As you know, in the first sentence, vegetarian burger was trying to tell that the quality of a burger that is vegetarian. In the this sentence, the misplaced modifier, they try to tell that sentence is same, everything is same over there, just positions are different. Once you change the positions of the words, the meaning of the sentence entirely changes. Like the car we bought named Pumpkin for my sister, they're saying it was ambiguous because it seems like you are talking about a name of a pumpkin, or sorry, name of your sister is Pumpkin. But they try to tell you name of a car is Pumpkin, which is bought for the sister. So that is what you call a misplaced modifier.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir, thank you.
So coming up to your tenses, future continuous will be V1 ing. So I think grammar rules are clear to you. Let's try to understand the difference between present, past, and future. One thing is common, that is continuation. Everything is going on, that is in continuation. The difference it lies, that is the place of time. In present or in the past, or now we are talking about future. So the continuation which we are seeing, that is in future. I am playing cricket, I was playing cricket, or I will be playing. So I will be playing means we are trying to indicate that for the future, that you have intention of that you will do in future, but in continuation. He will be uh, he will be watching TV. So that is something you assume this thing that in future or wherever the person is, that he is watching TV because you think that in future this is happening. He is watching TV means right now presently it is going on. He was watching means something in the past the continuation was going on. He will be watching means uh, something going on in future, but for sure that is in continuation. We do not here talk about any of sentence which is made in indefinite or in any other form. That is how we call it as future continuous. Okay. Let's do one of the example. For example, we need to see that meaning it should also come out. because it's not very common type of tense which we use. More oftenly we use future indefinite. Future continuous is for specific, places. Like as I've said that now we cannot replace those with a future indefinite. Like he will go to college tomorrow, and he will be going to college tomorrow. So he will go to college tomorrow means you are certain, you are sure that he would go, and he'll be going to college tomorrow means you think of that he will do this work in continuation for tomorrow. But if you try to see the meaning that he'll go to college tomorrow, he'll be going to college tomorrow. So we can understand that if you have a surety of that person would go, so future indefinite is more appropriate as compared to future continuous. Future continuous that you think of that he'll be going, he'll be coming, right? वो जा रहा होगा. It is something you imagine. He will be going. वो जाएगा, he'll go. That is something which is sure. So that's why I've said that you're supposed to see what is appropriate. We cannot just say that, in the grammar, if we see it's all right, he'll go or he will be going. By seeing the grammar, we can say this thing that is right sentence. But the sense, it is not appropriate. So we're supposed to say that which sentence, with the help of correct tense, would make actual sense. Because if there will not be actual sense, there is no meaning of communication. Process of communication, it tells, in the misplaced modifiers, even we can take example of it. It tells that when a sender sends the message, the receiver should understand in a very clear way. If there will be confusion in the sentence, it will be hard for the reader to understand it. And when he will give the feedback, again that feedback will be wrong. Because you have misunderstood the message. And when you have conveyed back, it will again be incorrect. So to avoid that, what we're supposed to do, we have to be very much sure about that whatever message I am saying, it should be in a right form of, it should be used with the right form of grammar. Along with it should have the actual sense of it. That's also important. So whatever you are conveying, it should also have a sense. We only do not follow, the grammar part. Okay, so that is what it is. So let's do some of the exercise. I'm going to present the screen so that you can do the exercise with me. Okay. At 3 o'clock tomorrow, I dash work in my office.
I'll be working in my office. I'll be working in my office.
I will be working. Okay, will be working. At 3 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be working in my office. So this is what I have said, that because you imagine something, you believe that tomorrow that this is going to happen. At 3 o'clock tomorrow, you, yes. What would be the blank?
Will be on the beach. Will be on the
Will
beach.
be.
There is word called lie. Where is lie?
Yes, sir.
You
Will
be
telling
Be lie on the beach.
lying.
Line ही आएगा, line आएगा.
Lying. मेरे ख्याल में lying है. Let's see. It's lying. Lying. Of course,
Yes,
spellings are
sir.
different. So you'll be lying. Yes, you'll be lying on the beach. It's not like you will be beaching or something like that. At 3 o'clock tomorrow, he wait for the train. Yes, he will be.
Will be
Waiting for the train.
Waiting.
He will be waiting. Yes.
Waiting.
He will be waiting. Yes. At 3 o'clock tomorrow, she dash shopping.
Will be
Will be
shopping.
shopping.
Yes, will be
Yes.
shopping. Good. At 3 o'clock tomorrow, it
Will be running.
Will be getting ready to go out.
will be raining. We
Sir,
We shall be
will be getting ready to go out.
getting.
Sir,
shall be or will be getting. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, will be
will
getting.
be
Shall be or
getting.
will be both are right.
Yes, sir.
They dash meet.
They will be
They will be meeting.
meeting.
They will be meeting. Yes. So he will be.
Same will
He
be
will be
meeting or
studying.
be
In the
full form.
studying.
She will be exercising.
Exercising.
I will
Shall
be
be
Will be
will be
sleeping.
sleeping. Shall be or will be sleeping. It's fine. Okay. So this is what you call future continuous tense. Clear? All right, guys. So that was your
Yes,
future
sir.
continuous tense. So we did two things. One is misplaced modifier and one is future continuous tense. So please do practice on it. We are completing our tenses and side by side we are also doing our grammar part like clauses and other things, punctuation. So please, you can check these things in your video lectures which I'm posting every day. Okay, so that when you will come up to your writing skills like your essay or your report or letter, then you should not have any kind of a confusion regarding the same. You should be clear about this. Okay, because your 15 marks question will be on writing skills. If a report would come or a letter or essay would come, there will be two questions who would come for 15 marks. So 30 marks it lie only in your you know subjective type of question. Subjective means there will be long question. There could be one essay to you, they could ask you anything, and there could be letter they can ask you, or you will have to write down a report. Okay, so while writing these things you need to be very much sure about your grammar. Okay, is it clear?
खत्म हो गया डाटा.
Okay. Now please अपनी अपनी जो अटेंडेंस है वो write me into the chat box so that I can note down. There's 16. Please write down your section and your roll number. Section A. (846), 857, 806, 312, 793, 829, 819, 797, 769 818 785 798 832 366 369 AI 812 782 863 766 774 864 779 770 772 379 375 795 813 824 368 788 839 788 839 751 771 854 854 797 851 863 803 762 okay 762 okay guys you can leave the meeting. I have noted down your attendance.
Sir,
Yes
सर
please
860
आपका सेक्शन कौन सा है?
सेक्शन बी सर।
बेटा आप लिखते क्यों नहीं हो चैट में?
सर लिखा है मैंने 860 बट आपने बोला नहीं।
860 बस चलो हाँ जी
Sir?
एनीवन एल्स? हाँ जी बोलिए बोलिए बेटा।
हाँ सर, फैजल भैया का नेट खत्म हो गया था तो सर फैजल भैया का नेट
रोल नंबर
खत्म हो
बोलिए।
गया था, डिस्कनेक्ट हुए, उनका अटेंडेंस बना दीजिए।
उसका अटेंडेंस क्या है? रोल नंबर बोलिए।
सर रोल नंबर नहीं पता पर नाम
फैजल
रोल नंबर नहीं पता पर नाम
कौन?
पता है
फैजल कौन से सेक्शन से है?
फैज।
फैज कौन से सेक्शन से है?
ये सेक्शन ए से है।
ठीक
ए
ठीक है जी ठीक है ओके। एनीवन एल्स?
थैंक यू
Excuse
सर।
me, sir.
हाँ जी बेटा।
So my connection was not. So मैं chat box अभी send हुआ है.
ओके आपका रोल नंबर क्या है?
Sir 784 section A.
784 ओके फाइन। यस एनीवन एल्स?
सर 771
771 ओके नेक्स्ट